I told you I knew how to do this, and then I didn't do it. I'm not going to take it out of its holster yet because I want Jane to be able to speak into the microphone. So Jane, make sure you really get into this thing. I'm try to push it down for you. Welcome to the December 15th meeting of the Rotary Club of Brentwood. My name is Drew Rogers, and I have the privilege. Thank you, Curry. Yes, I always appreciate your support. We have some familiar faces. Michael Carter, it's so glad to have you here. So glad to have you here. Welcome. We're glad you're here. We have a very important meeting. We've got some business to conduct, and we also get to conduct the business of learning how successful our golf tournament was this year. And so thank you, Larry, for your time in putting all of that together and preparing for this report out to our club. The invocation will be delivered today by Jane Covington, and the pledge and four-way test will be delivered by Jason Cook, and then Jennifer Bourne, our club secretary, will welcome our guests. I don't know that we have any visiting Rotarians, but with that, Jane.
Thank you, Drew, for the adjustment for the vertically challenged. If everybody would please bow your heads and pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful day and for the opportunity to gather for our club assembly. We ask for your blessing on each member of this club. We ask that you grant each of us, especially our club leaders, wisdom and discernment as we make decisions and plan activities intended to better our community and our world. We especially ask that you be with those Rotarians who are suffering with health challenges. In particular, Donna Weeks' daughter is having emergency surgery. Dale Llewellyn and Larry Faust are suffering with back problems. And I'm sure there are others. So please just be with each Rotarian who has a health challenge, whether we know about it or not. And we also want to express our gratitude that Bart King is doing well after a heart procedure. And we are so grateful that Susie is doing well after her cancer treatment. We certainly ask that you be with our neighbors who suffered so much loss after the recent tornadoes, right when most of us are gearing up for holiday celebrations. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Please face the flag and say with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test of the things we think, see, and do. 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And 5, we certainly hope.
Jane, thank you very much. Jason, thank you very much. Jennifer, we do have a couple of visitors. So I'll ask you to introduce our visitors, please.
I'm going to wait till everybody stops.
There you go.
All right. We have got some special guests here today. Our first one here is Michael Carter. Some of you guys know him. He is a previous member of our club. And
I've been trying to get Michael to come back, but he's too busy running all over Detroit and elsewhere. Any event, we were happy to have him here, and he's welcome back anytime he'd like to rejoin.
Amen.
I just want to share, and I'll try to make this brief, but it's so good to see so many of you who, in fact, I've known over the years, and my dear friend, Curry, who, in fact, really has been on me to look at coming. And I said, I'm going to be back before the end of the year. So I made good on my promise. And at the end of the day, as much as, again, I'm no longer, I still support, again, the organization financially because you do good work. You do good work. And so, I look and read and hear about all still the community outreach that, in fact, this club does. And I'm just always taken back by, again, the commitment of the same faces that were here when I was a member that are still here. And for the new members, you're part of a wonderful Rotary organization that you should be very proud of. Or more importantly, you should be pleased in terms of the impact that you have on the community. So happy holidays to everyone. And I won't make it 5 years, which probably longer than that, probably 8 or 9 years since I was last here. I'll come back.
Hey, Michael.
All right, our next guest, Jack Masari's Brian Thomas.
Brian is with Vistage, and he's a executive coach, and Vistage is a company that does CEO training. We do peer advisory to help CEOs help them. Thank you.
Welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you for joining us.
All right, and last couple weeks we've got where's Stephen? Right here. Stephen and Banks. So they got orientated today. So please try to get to know them over the next couple weeks as well.
So Steve and Banks both went through orientation. There was a lot of activity going on when you walked in. There were a lot of past presidents. There was a lot of Rotary firepower between Steve and Banks. But we look forward to welcoming you. I believe we're setting a date of January 12th where we can induct you into the club. And we're grateful for your interest in our group. We do have some announcements before we get into the business meeting. And we'll start with the club assembly and business meeting. As you all know, we have been making a transition to DACDB, and that is our club management software. We have been on Club Runner for the last 10 to 12 years, if I'm saying that right, Tom. It was you that 2012. So it's been 11 years that we've been on Club Runner. The district is on DACDB, which is a different club management system. There have been a number of people that have done a tremendous amount of work. Ted Elanchilian has been serving as project manager, and I'm so grateful to everything that you've done to advance that initiative. Jason Hulse has put in countless hours working on the finance module to get us where we needed to be in terms of reconciling our financial statements. Laura Troop is choked up over there, but she has been working very closely with Ted on the website to make sure that we have a website. Betsy Crossley, Susie Lindsay. There are people that I know that I'm not thanking and showing gratitude. But to give you just a very brief update, our intention is to make this transition on January 1st. That will be a very significant change. But all of the membership information is already in DACDB. That's where it will reside. Your invoices and billing will come out of DACDB, and Donna has been trained on how to do that. Information about speakers will be housed in there. And there is also a mobile application that I'm really excited to present to all of you guys, because I know how excited you all will be about having a mobile app. But you will be able to make payments through that app. It will be a much easier process to make payments instead of the current process that we have, which is essentially none. So I look forward to being able to share that with you. If you have any questions or if there's anything that I can do for you all about that transition, please let me know. Steve Passon and Tom Carr have also asked me to mention, and I made my payment before the meeting began, that this is going to be your last opportunity to make good on your Foundation Drive pledge. If you have a credit card and you would like to make there's somebody doing it right now. How about that? That's perfect timing. If you would like to make good on your Foundation Drive pledge, see Steve Passon or Tom Carr, and he can take that payment from you today. All right. Lastly, where is Bart King? Come on up, Bart. For those of you that didn't know, and I shamefully didn't know until after it was all said and done, Bart went through a valve replacement a week ago today. Or not today. Was it today? A week ago today? About a week, a little over a week ago. And look at how good he looks, guys. So I was informed of this, and then I ended up talking to Bart earlier this week, and I asked him if he would come to the front and make a few comments. So thank you.
But you know, when the president calls the king forward, you know, you're probably expecting something really big and really exciting. Well, and it actually is really big. It's a long story, but I won't bore you with all the details. But 10 years ago, my doctor told me that I had a heart murmur. I thought, well, I'm fine. What's a heart murmur? I didn't bother to ask. I just took it and went right on like I was always Well, a year ago last October, the cardiologist told me that you have an issue with your valve, heart valve. And we're going to watch it really, really close, and we have to do something about it. And I thought, well, what we do? And I did not want to be cut, period. So, this past October, I went back in, and they'd been watching me very, very closely, and he said, it's time to be done. And so he says, we send you, you have to go. Just so you know, I'm a veteran, and let me put in a plug for the VA in Nashville. I don't know about other VAs, but the VA in Nashville is super, and their doctors are Vanderbilt doctors, so they're great. Anyway, so he said, I'm going to send you over to Vanderbilt. So I went to Vanderbilt last Friday at 6 o'clock, and I was scared to death normally. And the doctors even said they agree with me. I mean, they were aware that I'd be scared. Anyway, they did the surgery. I was in my room at 11 o'clock Friday, and I came home last Saturday, and I feel great. And when I woke up in recovery, the nurse said, Mr. King, it's time to wake up. So I woke up and I said, hey, I can breathe, and I don't have any pressure in my chest. I have never said anything to anybody, but I was so short of breath. I could not walk. Couldn't even walk a block. And there was so much pressure in my chest, it actually hurt. But I was praying all the time. I was in an atmosphere of prayer. But anyway, I came home Saturday. God's good to me, and God's good to everybody. And we worship a great, big, wonderful God who loves all of us. And he hears our prayers, and he takes care of us. And you people are great, and I appreciate you. And I've heard from many of you. And I got this beautiful card. I don't know who it came from, but it said your friend that wrote it, and it thrilled my soul. So bless all of you and have a Merry Christmas.
What a great message, Bart. Thank you for sharing that. And welcome. We're incredibly glad that you're here. With that, I will now call this club assembly to order. And I will ask our club secretary, Jennifer Bourne, if she has confirmed that we have a quorum present. Wonderful. I believe we had about 5 different people counting to see. So I appreciate you guys paying attention to the 2 emails that you got last night that indicated that you needed to be here so we could conduct this business. And so a few things. The order of the meeting. So Lennis is going to share the agenda for our club assembly. And once I'm done with the business meeting of our club, then Tom Carr will come up for the foundation. But so you can see the agenda behind me. We've already had a call to order. I will be presenting the slate of incoming officers and directors. Stephen Hammers is here. Thanks be to God. But he was also in New York earlier today, and we weren't sure that he would make it. So I agreed that I would present the slate. There will be an opportunity to offer alternative nominations. And then the way that our bylaws are constructed, that whether there are alternative nominations or not, then we will vote on those nominees. And then we will move on to Tom's portion of the program. So if you'll move to the next slide. This is from our club bylaws. And so I am going to actually read this because this will tell you how we actually have this, how we conduct this business. Officers are to be nominated as follows: president, president-elect, vice president, secretary, treasurer, sergeant-at-arms, and such directors that are needed to fill board vacancies. As you know, the president, president-elect, and secretary are laddered positions. So to the extent that you are the treasurer, then you would be elevated to the president-elect and then president-elect to president. Secretary to president-elect to president. Thank you, Liz. Yeah, so Jason, congratulations. Officer positions are for 1 year, except for the treasurer, which is a 3-year term. Congratulations, Jason. Director terms are for 2 years with staggered terms to assure continuity. The 7 directors are as follows: club service activities, club service membership, community service, international service, vocational service, public relations, and director at large. The at-large director shall be a past president of the club that's at least 5 years removed from office and serve a 1-year term. No at-large director shall serve consecutive terms. The proposed slate of officers and directors are presented to the club at this annual meeting, which is what we are doing. And additional nominations may be made from the floor. The nominations duly made shall be voted on at the meeting, and the candidates receiving a majority of votes for each position shall be declared elected. And then all positions will assume the office as of July 1st. So it is recommended but not required that the president-elect, which is proposed by the nominating committee, shall have served as club secretary. You will see when we present the slate that that is the case this year. The officers and directors so elected and the immediate past president shall constitute the board of directors. So are there any questions about those formalities? Hearing none, then I would ask Lennis to bring up the proposed slate of officers and directors. First, we will start with the incoming president, Stephen Hammers, President-elect Jennifer Bourne, Secretary Jennifer Ruane, Treasurer Jason Hulse, who will be serving the second year of a 3-year term, Director at Large Sarah Johnson, the Vice President Jordan Nielsen, Sergeant at Arms Kip Dodson, Director of Vocational Service Jeff Brown, Director of Community Service Michael Kaplan. And those remaining in their roles, I guess Michael would fall into that category. Those remaining in their roles for a second year of a 2-year term are Charles Grumman as the Director of Public Relations, Zach Benner as the Director of Club Service Membership, Michelle LaFollette, the Director of Club Service Activities, and Bob Searcy, Director of International Service. So with that, those are the nominees that have been presented to the nominating committee and are being presented to our board. Do I have any alternative nominations from the floor? Thank you. We have a motion to close the nominations and a second. That is from Tom Carr making the motion, Glennis Sugis seconding. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Have we voted on the nominees? Okay, nominations are closed. So do I have a motion to accept the proposed nominees as presented? Hunter McCarty makes the motion. We have a second from Dick Bowers. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And congratulations to our incoming officers and directors. I will now invite Tom Carr. We will leave the meeting remains open. I would ask Tom Carr to come to the podium.
So, get right into this. Okay. All right. So the BRCCF, the Brentwood Rotary Charitable Foundation, is a separate but very much joined to the club foundation. I'll just give you a quick overview of our leadership. So we have 12 total members of the board of the charitable Brentwood BRCCF. 4 of those are determined by club position. So we're not voting on those today. They come in automatically as being a part of the club board. So that's the president, the president-elect, the immediate past president, but anyway, so there's 4. And it's the director of community service is the 4th. So we're not voting on them here. We then have 2 officers, and this year the 2 officers are changing out. So the 2 officers are the president and the treasurer. So Steve Passon and myself will rotate off. We will offer up 2 nominees to replace the 2 officers. And then the other 4 members, 6 members, excuse me, are trustees. They serve for 3-year terms. So each year we normally have 2 trustees roll off the board and we'll vote in two new ones to serve a 3-year tour. This year's a little different. I'll explain that when we put up the numbers of the folks that have been nominated. So according to our bylaws, the way we work it, we have a nominating committee, which was myself, Steve Hammers, and Sheila Cleveland. We went and picked the nominees to present to the BRCCF board. The board then voted on them. They approved this slate that I'm going to give you, and now we present it to the club for ratification. So if you would. So let me just kind of go through who you're voting for, okay? Because some folks are not. So Lennis will be as president. You're going to vote for him. He's been nominated, excuse me. We have Marie Swinford as treasurer. Okay. We have Larry Faust as trustee for 1 year. He is filling Lennis was a trustee, so he's moving up. He had 1 more year left. So it's going to be Larry taking his place. We have Jane Covington. Now she's one of the ones that's going to be, this is a 3-year term. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She's replacing Michael Kaplan. All right, this is confusing. So Michael Kaplan was a trustee. He then became the director of community services. And so now he's over working the second 2 years in that position. So we're not voting for him today. You've already voted him in. But we'll be voting for Jane to take up the second and third years. I'm not really confusing everybody. And I'll take questions. We're not voting for Jennifer Lee, Steve. Jennifer Shepard is a trustee. 3-year tour, she's coming in. And Laura Troop, also going to be a trustee. She's coming in for a 3-year tour as well. And then the rest are not voting for. We're not voting for Drew, but these are the ones, or Steve Hammers. So any questions on this complicated thing that I've just totally screwed it up? So I will now open the floor to nominations for any alternatives that you would like to put this upon to do. Yes. Dick, move the nominations be closed and second. Okay, so now we're going to vote on whether nominations be closed. Any discussion, first of all? All those in favor of closing nominations, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, now we'll vote on the slate that I gave it to you in a torturous manner. All those in favor of the slate as presented above, just read it, don't pay any attention to me. Very good. Thank you for helping me with Robert's Rules of Order, which I took as a class one time. I have a second over here from Sheila Cleveland. Susie, thank you very much. So now, any further discussion? So now we'll call for the vote on the slate. All those in favor of this slate as presented above, behind me, say aye. Any opposed? So I would graciously like to give this back to Drew.
I don't know if that was my fault, but I felt like I did a really bad job until you went, Tom. But I also might have led you into that. So my apologies. You can strike that from the minutes, Jennifer. But I would at this time like to entertain a motion to close the annual club assembly. I have a motion to close the club assembly from Lennis, seconded by Jane Covington. Any further discussion? I think that's okay. Well, all those in favor of closing the annual club assembly, say aye. Any opposed? Wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody. With that, we do have a very exciting program that we've kind of doubled up. Doesn't get much more exciting than voting in officers and directors, but if it did, it would be the our golf tournament report out. And so I know that this is something that we've been waiting for. I'm excited to hear about since we started the foundation drive. This is going to be a great way to close out our calendar year, so we can see how much money we were able to raise for the Brentwood Rotary Club Charitable Foundation. So with that, Larry Kane, would you join me at the podium?
Not sure I can follow all that excitement there. That was a pretty amazing. I hope y'all didn't mind that I invited Susie to come be here today. This is
It'll be the first meeting she hadn't been to do this presentation, and she used to always come because she wanted to know what I was doing all those hours in the office. Every time we'd have a good report, she said, "Well, you did pretty good this past year then." Yeah. So I invited her to come. Hope that was okay. Real quick, let's talk just a hair about why this event is important and how we made it work. This is our 7th year of having a tournament. Last year we raised about $125,000 and gave it to the PRCCA. For 6 years, we've raised $459,774 and given it to the PRCCA. So fairly substantial, good 6 years of history going into this. We as members donate regularly to the annual drive to the PRCCF, but by far the biggest the golf tournament. So we had a good year this year, and we're going to talk about how good it was in just a minute. But here's why we had a good year. 72 members sold memberships this past year. 72. Now, remember that number we're going to talk about. 36 people worked at the event. That's the most we've ever had at the event. And thanks to our director of personnel, Susan Lindsay, it went great. Some people worked 2 hours and several people worked 10 hours that day. So it was great. And you'll see a list of the names here in just a few minutes, but it was wonderful to see the club involved with 36 members working. It worked because you that sold membership sold 64 new memberships. I mean, new sponsorships this year. New sponsorships, not ones we had before. 34 of those were what I call major sponsors, which means they were bigger than a whole sponsor. A whole sponsor is $350. So that means 34 of those sponsorships were greater than $350. Excellent. Excellent. It worked because Susie Lindsay spent 12 hours or more that day at the golf course, taking care of everything going on in the clubhouse while I was out on the golf. She's done that every year, and it's amazing. I can't imagine having a better attitude than Susie has, and it was wonderful. Always wonderful to work. It worked partly because Jane Covington stepped up, and on 5 minutes after I mentioned this new sponsorship we had for $10,000, she took it. And that was unbelievable. That was a great kickoff to our fundraising efforts. And it worked because the A team, if you know who the A team is, that's Tanksley and Jared Tanksley and Curry and Michael, had another spectacular year. You'll see that number here in just a minute. And it worked because the Villers, Jamie and Jim, again came out, and both of them worked most all day. Jamie kind of took care of our food. She took care of the lunch and the dinner afterwards, making sure it got where it's supposed to go and everything happened there, helping Susie do that. And then Jim was there doing that also. And then Jim also sold some sponsorship. So it was a great team effort. Jim, I appreciate what you and Jamie do. Okay. It worked because Keeley Hall, Beth Dorminey, and Bob and Clay Searcy stayed and worked 2 shifts when we had somebody that dropped out. So those people filled in spots we didn't have. And that's wonderful to have people that we know will do that. And it worked because my buddy Lennis Sue just put together this presentation you're going to see today, plus the other ones that we've seen. So he puts a lot into these, and as you'll see, it's very well done. So let's take a look real quick, just kind of what happened this year. Some information that you'll find interesting. Oh yeah, these guys show up every year to play, and I don't. Is John Krepp up there, and Jeff Brown, and Rodney Lund. I'm not sure, but kind of looks like Rodney. Anyway, they show up every year, and it's there. Talk a little bit about this. 100% ready to go to the VRCCL. Wait, 450. 459 to 774 we raised in the first 6 months, first 6 events, and the future is very bright. Our net raised has increased every year for the first 6 years, and you'll see that number here in just a minute. So our partners this year, what we call our major partners, were One Generation Away, Peterson Foundation and Parkinson's, and the Alzheimer's Tennessee. We choose 3 every year to be our major partners, and they're guaranteed at least $10,000. And I think, Tom, that's we gave them all $10,000 this year. So it's nice to do that. And we choose you can't repeat. You have to has to be 3 different ones every year. We started that about 4 years ago, I think, and it's worked great every year having them involved. So. I'm just going to put this up here. The website that we have, if you went on there, you saw it. It is a fabulous website. We have raised, we have used this for a group out of Florida that helps us with the tournament called Perfect Golf Events. Does our website for us, and it's pretty amazing what all you can do on this website. We had this year we had 107 of our sponsors use the website to sign up. 107. Payments through the website were $44,465. Now, why that's important is because it doesn't have to be handled by us, Steve and myself and others who handle these checks we get in the mail and things. That's eliminated because it's all done on the website. So going forward, we'll still have this website. I'm just encouraging people, don't be afraid to tell your potential sponsors that they can use the website to sign up and do everything they want to do. There's all kind of information on there about the tournament. There's the schedule, there's pictures, it's just a great website. So going forward in the future, remember the website and use it. All right, we have 10 captains who help with the sales every year. Our captains this year were Tom Carr. Thank you, Tom. Come up. Bert Bradford. No, I'm sorry. Sherry Coss. Sherry Coss, and then Bert Bradford. Jason Halsey. Each one of these captains had 9 or 10 members under them that they were responsible for as far as contacting and keeping them posted, helping them solicit sponsorships, et cetera. Oh, Jennifer Run. I didn't see Jennifer up there. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow, I will admit. Michael Barrett. You'll see in a minute, Mr. Barrett was our champion this year, raised the most money of any team. You'll see that in just a few minutes. Keely Hall. Hunter McCarty. Noonan, he's not here today. And Steve Huff. So thank you, team captains. Great job. Well done. And we appreciate you doing that for us. It makes my job a whole lot easier. So here are the competition results from those teams. So you can see kind of what everybody did. And I will say this in Bert Bradford's defense, he won last year. So he kind of did a flip on us, but it's all based on how you draft players at the draft. And you never know who you're going to get and what they're going to bring to the table. And as you will see in just a second or two, our number 1 team was the Barrett team, $23,250 his team raised. So the total of the teams raised $106,750. And the A team identified $38,575. Three guys, 46 sponsorships between three guys. Good job. Great job. Top sales team, as I said, was Mr. Barrett. Here is his team and what each one of them worked. They all did a good job. He got credit, of course, for James $10,000. That helped a lot, but that's the luck of the draft right there. So that's a great job by the team. 80% of his members participated. He had 10 members and 8 of them sold. 2 of them did not sell. Not going to read you this list. I just wanted you to see it. This is all the volunteers, the 36 that I mentioned. You can see it fill the whole day up and a number of different positions that they took. And again, it's great to see us, I think, participate in an event where you can do, like I said, you can work 2 hours, you can work 10 hours. It's your choice. And it's a fun job. I don't think anybody would say it was fairly difficult. And it's fun because you're with a lot of good people. And of course, it's a great environment to be in when you're out on the golf course or in the clubhouse there. So thank you, volunteers, very much for what you did. James is not here, but the police department won the Patriot Cup, which is a competition between the police department team and the fire department team. And I think they've won it like 4 or 5 years in a row now. So the police department is dominating the Patriot Cup. There actually is a Patriot Cup, a nice big trophy that sits in the chief's office with their name on it each year. And so they get pretty fired up about it. And this year, because of Jane's sponsorship, we got them shirts, which is the one I'm wearing here is the fireman shirts, and then the policeman had a blue shirt. So it was nice that we could do that for them, and they all enjoy playing. So this is what I call the Champions Club, and every year I try to break it down to the top, however many where it makes sense to break it off at 20 or so of our top producers. This year the number was $1,500. If you had over $1,500 in sales, then you made it to the Champions Club, and we had 25 people that did that. So that's awesome. 25 out of 100. Okay, so Stephen Hall had two, $1,500. Out here. Jason Halsey, $1,500. Come on up. Yeah, sit back down, Jason. Well, okay. We'll pick up for that. I'm sorry. That's weird. Sarah Johnson, $1,500. Charles Grumman, $1,500. Charles isn't here. Charles. Wells Fargo, always a great sponsor. Errol Fogelberg got out and got $1,750. Keely Hall, $1,850. Getting on up there now. 2 sponsorships total that. Jack Massari, $1,850. Michelle, $1,900. Good job. President, $1,900. Good job. Hunter McCarty, $2,000. Sybil, she's not here, $2,100.
Dale Llewellyn, $2,200. Steve Huff, $2,400. Lennis Sugis, $2,400. Patrick Wright, $2,600. Rodney Lund, $2,700. Jennifer Shepherd, $2,700. Lewis Rankin, $2,950. Good job, Lewis. Hey, stop. I just want y'all to notice something. All these are great numbers. They're only talking selling 2 or 3 sponsorships. We're not talking about going out and working 30 days to get $2,000. We're talking about 2 phone calls. Okay? 2 or 3 phone calls. That's it. Okay, let's go. Devin got 4, $4,900. Jeff Talley had won 5,000. That's Lattimore Black. They've been a loyal sponsor every year. Bart King. Now look at this, guys. 14 sponsorships for Mr. King. $5,250. And I'll just tell you, Bart got on a roll and realized that what I had said earlier about if you can call your friends or people you know in business or you've done business with and ask them that you're working for a contribution for your Rotary Club's foundation, that it works. And Bart got on the phone, and every day I'd get an email from him. God, I called so-and-so today, and they agreed to do this. I called so-and-so. So it worked, didn't it? You just ask, like we said, just ask. You just ask. And he's kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. He got 14 for $5,000. Great. Michael, part of the A team, $5,650. Don't forget that guy. All right. Rodell had 8, $7,450. And the mayor, Ray, he was one of those guys that made a couple of calls and got a couple. And he said, you know what? I can call something. And he ended up calling 8 people and got a hit on every one of them just about. So that's a great job, Ray. We appreciate that, man. Really good. Tom Carr, $7,500. Got 4. Here we go. Jared, 22, $9,575. Jared is at his office Christmas party, but he promised me he'd be here at 12:30. So anyway, we'll get him when he gets here. And sitting on top of the heap here is Corey Andrews, $23,350. And as a special gift I have for several people here, Jane Covington. Ha ha. Thank you, Jane. She got clothes inside that shirt. Don't worry. Hey, there, I said you'd be here at 12:30. Thank you, Jared. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, I got a couple other special ones here I want to do before we move on to the last results. I got 8 minutes left. We got out, we did the 9/11 tribute that day. And as you heard this story the other day, actually, but we had to have a singer for the national anthem. And somebody proposed the choir that was here the other day, but we didn't have any place to put them. So Miss Troop said, I'll do it. And I kind of said, so you can sing? She said, yeah, I can take care of it. She was fabulous. She did a great job. So where are you? There you are. A person that is in the background, because that's where a lot of guys in his profession stay. Steve Passon is of course, the treasurer. So Steve and I work closely on all the numbers for this thing, the checks and the money and the expenses and who paid this. And gee, where did that check go? It went to the normal account. It's supposed to go to the golf account and et cetera. So a lot of time on the phone with Steve and a lot of work with Steve. He does a great job. So Steve, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. I've already mentioned his name, and he got his other gift certificates, but I couldn't pass up not giving, because I know he plays golf a lot. I couldn't pass up giving Linus a shirt. So Linus, for all you did, buddy. Thank you. Oh, and there's one more down. Susie Lindsay. Thank you. Could not do it without you guys, believe me. Could not do it. Financial results. Dun, 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 dun. 2017, first year, we made $33,000. I'm not going to read all these. You can read them yourself. You get to 2023. All right, stop. So keep in mind one thing. Last year, we made $120,502. We had a $25,000 anonymous donation. So that helped get that $120,000. That means the club, stay with me now, club raised $95,000. We raised $95,000 plus the 25 we got for 2020. Right? This year, $111,831. We did not get the $25,000 donation this year. We got a $10,000 donation. So the 10,000 off of the 111 means that the club raised 101,000 this year, up almost 6,000 over last year. So that's great. Good job. Good job. That 111 brings our total for 7 years to $571,605. That's a pretty nice contribution for 7 years. I want to see that hit 7 figures. I am determined to see that hit 7 figures. So we made our goals there. Thank you very much for that. Do what? Want me to tell him? You want me to tell him? Calvin Layhew. Cal Turner. Cal Turner. Y'all know who Cal Turner is. That's who he's friends with Curry, and that's where it came from. So what does that leave us? And where does that take us next? And what's our future look like? You know, guys, it's a numbers game. This is just purely a numbers game. And in my mind, we haven't come close. Because, hey, where's that card that has to be? The 72 that I showed you earlier that we had for, that's the chart. The 72 we had earlier, which I showed the number of people that we had contribute. Yeah, that's 70% or thereabouts of our membership. 70%. I say this every year, and I'm going to say it again. The Franklin Morning Club has had a golf tournament for 25 years or thereabouts. They raised, last time I talked to them a couple of years ago, I think they raised over $200 and something thousand that year. Their requirement is each member is responsible for $1,000 in sponsorships. However you want to do it, write a check or go out and get sponsorships. and they raise, and they have 95% participation. It's their deal. It's their big deal. This is our big deal. This is what's going to feed Tom's BRCCF or your BRCCF going forward. And it's going to give us the ability to do more in our community, to give more money back, maybe to give more scholarships, who knows what, but this is where it's going to come from. And as I showed you all ago, the people that were leaders, our leaders here today, the champions, they sold 2 or 3 sponsorships. A couple of them, thank goodness, Jared, Bart, and others went out and got a month, which is wonderful. But it doesn't take that much to sell 2 or 3 sponsorships, which is $1,000+. That's where we've got to improve. We've got to get that 70% number up to 90%. We've got to get everybody wanting to say, and we're not, I keep saying selling, you know, you don't sell a sponsorship. You're creating a donation, what you're asking for our Rotary Club. And that Rotary Club money goes out to our community people that we give it to in the form of grants. So you're not really selling anything. If they buy a sponsorship, they get their name on something, a sign or whatever the sponsorship comes with, they get their name on that. And like I said, it's a numbers game. The more people we get involved in this, the more money we're going to make. The more money those people raise, the more money we're going to get. But just imagine if we had 90 people, not 70, but 90, which would be 90% of us, and each one of us raised $1,000, plus what the other ones have done, where our number would be. It'd be wonderful. I mean, $100,000 is fabulous. Don't get me wrong, but we can do so much better than that. No question about that. It just takes us committing to do that. It takes 6 months to run this event and the tournament, and it takes you 5 minutes to make a phone call. Pretty simple. So that's what I'm going to look for next year. I'm going to be up here talking in April, introducing the tournament. It's September the 9th next year at Nashville Golf. And we're going to raise, our goal this year was to raise 100,000 because we didn't know if we could get that donation or not. So we did it. We got 100,000 both ways you look at it. We got it net, and we got it also with the addition of the one-time gift. So we did good, and we got money for Tom and BRCCF, but we can do so much better. So much better. So that's my message. Thank you all for letting me do it. Wait a minute, got a question? It's all fun for me. I'll have to admit, I love doing this. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Rod, thank you for doing that. Because if you didn't, I would have. Because Larry, ultimately, the amount of work that you put into this is, I don't think we can fully appreciate how much work you put into this. And I am sure that there are moments there that are fun, and I'm sure that there are moments that are not fun. And everything that you've been through over the last year to commit yourself to doing this is just such a selfless act. And it's exactly what we do when we say that we serve above self. And so thank you for your demonstration of the values of our club. It's amazing. What Larry did not say that I'm sure everyone was thinking is there were a couple of Alabama fans that were prominently displayed on the team leader. And I was kind of hoping that you might be able to defer some of that NIL money that goes to Alabama football to maybe supporting the golf tournament. So something to keep in mind. A-team and Alabama fan team captains. Hey, this was a great way to finish the year. We have no more meetings this calendar year. So do not come here next week. Saw that, Alan, you're in a suit today. So you know that this is the last meeting of the calendar year because you mean business. So we will not be meeting next week. I hope that you all have Jason Pulse. Good call. Yeah. So if you thank you for saying that. Yes, as we make this transition, it would be very helpful if you have an outstanding balance to get that taken care of before the end of the year. Jared. you will have to probably reset you have an existing profile, but you'll have to probably reset your password. Because Donna, when you became a member of this club and she has been inputting all of that information in the new database, you'll probably, when the first time that you go in, you'll probably have to put your email address in and say that you forgot your password. But my hope is that early in the new calendar year in 2024, we can kind of have a Rotary Minute that will go 5 to 10 minutes and talk about some of those things. So, as you might guess, because we've reoriented the room, we do not put up tables and chairs today. Larry Kane. Thank you, Larry. Yes. Yes. So Foundation Drive checks, you can make payments with Steve Passon, Patrick Wright. February 3rd. Okay. Thank you. Leave the tables and chairs where they are. There's a wedding coming here. Curry. Yeah. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. Yes, George. There you go. Excellent. There you go. So go make sure you tune in. All right. If there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, then happy holidays. Hope that you're safe and happy, and we will look forward to seeing you in the new year.